My boyfriend wants me to cut off his brother, who stepped in and defended me when we got into an argument, in order to repair our relationship, but his brother wants me to stay away from my boyfriend and reevaluate our relationship, and I don't know what to do. Posted by you/punchdrunklady. My boyfriend, 24M, and I, 21F, have been together for 2 years. I have known his brother, who I will call Ray, for most of that time. We have always gotten on well enough. The whole situation started with my 21st birthday party. We had a party at home with 20 or so friends and family. Ray was, of course, present at the party, along with a few other members of my boyfriend's family. The party was going reasonably well. As it started to get later, I started to get a little tipsy, and most of the guests had started to go home. It eventually got down to a drunken little group made up of myself, my boyfriend, Ray, and a couple of my girlfriends. We were sitting outside, and one of my girlfriends decided to get on the trampoline. She managed to execute a pretty cool flip, and I expressed that I wished I knew how to do one. My friend talked me into giving it a try. I got up on the tramp, stumbled drunkenly, and fell down laughing. Everyone else, except for my boyfriend, was laughing also. It didn't seem like much of an event until my boyfriend got up, muttered effing pathetic in an angry tone, and then told me that we needed to speak in private. I was pretty confused as to what was going on, so I asked him, why? He answered me with, just stop being a stupid cow for a second and come to the bedroom. Both of my friends and Ray looked pretty shocked at this, but before I followed my boyfriend to the bedroom, I told him it was fine and he was probably just messing around. He can have a real temper sometimes, particularly after a few drinks, but I didn't think that would be the case in this instance, as literally nothing upsetting had happened. Cut to me and my boyfriend in the bedroom. He shuts the door and starts really going off. He tells me that I'm a disgusting, drunk idiot and that I was showing off like some kind of pathetic wannabe by messing around on the trampoline. That I was an embarrassment to him and that I was to go to bed now and not leave the room until morning so that I wouldn't be more of an idiot in front of company. As this is going on, he is getting louder and louder and is slamming things around the room. I went to leave, as I was quite upset at this point, but he blocks the door, so I sit down on the bed. Ray is banging on the door and tells my boyfriend to open it. My boyfriend goes out into the hall, and I can hear him and Ray arguing. Next thing I know, Ray comes into the room and says to go with him. I was sobbing like crazy at this point because I hate confrontation in general, so I just nod and go with him. Ray makes sure my other friends have left, and then we both get into a taxi. I don't know where my boyfriend has gone, but he is still somewhere in the house. I'm crying a bunch in the car and don't say much, but Ray calls his and my boyfriend's mother and gives her a brief rundown of what happened. We got to Ray's place. He lives with a couple, and they were all really nice. The girl roommate lent me some stuff to sleep in, and Ray told me to take his bed and that he would sleep on the couch. I was kind of all over the place but eventually got some sleep. The next morning, I got up and had coffee with Ray and one of his roommates. Ray asked if my boyfriend had behaved that way before, and I let him know about my boyfriend's temper but explained that he had never blown up over something as insignificant as me mucking around on a trampoline. I asked Ray if he thought maybe I did or said something that might have upset my boyfriend, and didn't realize due to being tipsy, but Ray said no and that my boyfriend's behavior was unacceptable. I felt silly and embarrassed, especially knowing that Ray and my friends had heard everything my boyfriend had said, and I told Ray I had better get home and try to sort things out. Ray said that he wanted me to stay at his place for just a bit longer to calm down and that he would really prefer that I didn't go home straight away, as my boyfriend could still be angry. I gave in and hung out there with Ray and his roommates. We all just played video games and got some takeout, and I ended up feeling much better afterward, so I'm glad I stayed. Early evening, I told Ray I should really go home. I didn't have any of my clothes, and more importantly, I needed my stuff for university the next day. He drove me over but didn't really want me to go inside. I told him it would really be fine and promised I would call him if anything happened. He agreed but said he would wait outside for a few minutes just in case. I got inside and my boyfriend wasn't home, so I told Ray to go and went about tidying up from the party. My boyfriend eventually showed up and seemed calm enough. I told him I thought we needed to have a talk, and he agreed. We sat down on the couch, and I explained to him that I didn't think the way he spoke to me last night was okay and asked for an explanation. His response was, I will discuss that with you after you delete Ray's phone number. You won't be speaking to him again. I was confused as all hell at this and asked what that had to do with the matter at hand. He told me that Ray disrespected him by interfering in our relationship and that we were cutting ties with him. He told me he wouldn't discuss anything else about the night before until I did that. I told my boyfriend I thought that was pretty unnecessary, and that Ray had been trying to help me because my boyfriend was acting really threatening. I said I would have probably done the same in Ray's shoes. Well, my boyfriend did not like that. He yelled, called me some names, and left the house. After a few hours, he sent me a text: "I'm sorry for yelling, but you need to respect what I want if you want the same in return. This can't be one-sided. Delete Ray's number and we will finish the conversation. Love you." I replied that I needed a little time to think and said I would be sleeping in the spare room when he got home, and to please leave me alone for a while. I went to bed and heard my boyfriend come in very late. He opened the door to the spare room and turned the light on, but as I woke up, he just walked out of the room and slammed the door. So this morning, I've woken up, my boyfriend is at work, and I have a text from Ray. It says, "Hey up, I hope you're okay. Look, what, boyfriend's name, did the other night is really not alright, and I think you should get out of there for a while. I've talked to person A and person B, and it's totally fine for you to crash here until you figure out what you want to do. So that leaves me where I am now. I don't know what to do about the situation. Do as my boyfriend asks and cut contact with Ray, or take Ray's offer of some space away from my boyfriend to clear my head. My worry is that if I stay at Ray's, that will destroy any chance of fixing things with my boyfriend. Advice very much appreciated. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Ray sounds like a really awesome, mature man. The thing with your boyfriend, he called you some awful things, and it seems this isn't the first time. Why would you stay with someone who thinks so little of you? Him wanting you to cut contact with Ray is for one reason: he's furious that Ray stopped him from abusing you further. If he truly cared for you, surely he'd be apologizing profusely? Instead, he's turning it all back on you. He's trying to manipulate you by refusing to engage in any discussion of his awful behavior until you cut contact with the one person who protected you from his torrent of abuse. Your boyfriend is a cruel, nasty person. I think you should listen to Ray. Ray is his brother, so Ray should be biased towards taking his brother's side. That he's taking your side speaks volumes about just how badly your boyfriend is treating you. Op's response. It does make me think, when his brother, and now also his mother, who has just called me, are being so supportive towards me. My boyfriend has had a bad habit of name-calling for as long as I can remember. It has always bothered me, but over the last year or so it has gotten worse, much nastier. We have had good times though, and I don't want to ignore that. I'm just in a pretty messed up place at the moment. Commenter 2. You need to get out of this relationship. If even his own brother is sticking up for you and not him, that should tell you something about your boyfriend's lack of character. And the fact that your boyfriend is trying to isolate you from someone who stepped up to help you also speaks volumes. Get out before he turns violent on you. Op's response. He hasn't been physical before, but there have been a couple of occasions where he got really in my face and swung his hands around a lot. It made me nervous. I told him it made me feel scared once, but he got really upset and said it was insulting that I would think he could hit me. Commenter 3. That's how abusers respond. A normal person reacts to your scaring me with "Oh God, I'm so sorry. Let me not do that again." An abuser responds to your legitimate fear by saying you insulted him. Because his ego is more important to him than you are. That's the only reason for a person to respond to "You scared me" with "I'm insulted that you think I'd hit you." Op's response. Is that really something common with people like that? I suppose I never thought of it that way. Op adds an edit to her post. When I was able to come back and check on this post, I was amazed at the enormous number of comments and messages I received. There has been a lot to catch up on, and I am reading everything. Thank you to everyone who has given their advice. It has cemented the decision I've already made about getting out, but quite a bit has happened in the last day, so I will be doing an update for anyone who is curious. I will try to get it up in a few hours. Again, thank you to everyone who has commented or messaged me. I'm truly touched by all the helpful and caring responses I've received. Update 1 day later. Hi everyone. First of all, as I said in my edit on my original post, I want to thank everyone who offered advice and support. I was amazed at the huge response I got, and while I couldn't reply to every comment, I did read all of them. After Ray texted me, I replied to him asking if he had known my boyfriend to behave like this with other girls in the past. Over the course of many texts, it came out that he often yelled at and belittled his previous girlfriend in front of others, and some of his friends and family had suspicions about how far he was taking it. After the breakup, the girlfriend posted some stuff on Facebook about how my boyfriend had hit her, said awful things to her, and did other things like spying on her and deleting people from her phone behind her back. Initially, when this happened, Ray and his parents questioned my boyfriend, but he insisted that the physical abuse accusations were not true and that his ex was saying those things to cover up the fact that she had allegedly cheated on him. My boyfriend admitted to yelling at her, but he told his family that she did the same and just as often. His family eventually accepted that, but Ray and his parents were always wary of my boyfriend's behavior, and Ray in particular had made a point to keep an eye on things. My boyfriend's ex apparently had also called Ray around 6 months after myself and my boyfriend had gotten together and asked him to help me if anything happened. At the time, Ray was not quite ready to believe my boyfriend would physically abuse anyone, but he told her all the same that he would watch out for me or any other girl in the future. Ray told me that after the way he saw my boyfriend behave at my party, he became more convinced that my boyfriend was likely to get physical, and that was why he chose to step in. He also told me that even if it didn't go that far, I should not put up with how my boyfriend treated me. I agreed. What Ray had told me, and all the information and support I received here, had me pretty convinced that I was not in a good situation. I decided to go and stay with Ray and his roommates for a short time. I don't have too many other options for accommodation this urgently. My parents live too far away, and the few friends I could stay with are other girls with enough on their plates, and I didn't want to risk bringing this drama to their doorsteps. In retrospect, I'm glad I chose to go to Ray's, because I feel like what followed could have been even more frightening and dangerous if only myself and another girl had been present. I didn't have much time to get my stuff together before my boyfriend was due to arrive home, so I packed a few bags of essentials and valuables, along with my school things, and Ray picked me up. I left a note at the house for my boyfriend saying I was leaving and that I did not plan on returning, other than to retrieve the rest of my things. I didn't tell him where I would be staying and said I would rather he didn't contact me directly, suggesting he communicate through his mother instead. I got to Ray's and got settled in. While choosing to leave was difficult and I had a few bouts of crying, I also felt immensely relieved. Ray and my boyfriend's parents came around and brought some dinner. They were incredibly nice about everything and told me I had to do what was best for me. We always got along well, but I never expected them to be so kind and supportive given the situation. Halfway through dinner, my phone rang. It was my boyfriend. I did not want to answer it, and everyone else agreed that was probably a good idea. After my phone rang out, Ray and my boyfriend's mom's phone began to ring. Predictably enough, it was my boyfriend calling. His dad answered the phone. The phone was not on speaker, but my boyfriend was loud enough that you could hear him yelling down the line. I couldn't tell exactly what was said, but his dad was telling him to calm down and not to do something. My boyfriend hung up on him, and Ray and his dad told us he was coming to Ray's place, saying this was all Ray's fault. Ray started to get a bunch of text messages from my boyfriend, making threats and telling Ray that he knew I was there and he was coming to get me. Ray replied saying that if he came here and caused trouble, he would be calling the police, but my boyfriend ignored him. He showed up at Ray's probably 15 minutes later. He drove up onto the lawn and almost hit the letterbox, then got out of his car and started yelling. Ray and his dad went out while I stayed in the front room with his mom. My boyfriend yelled for a while and was kicking at random parts of the garden. He started to yell towards the house that he knew I was there and to come out. I wasn't planning on coming out at all, and Ray told him to leave. My boyfriend ended up running around the side of the house to the back patio entry. The screen door was locked, but the solid back door wasn't, and he started hitting the flywire, trying to break it. He kept yelling into the house that he knew I was there and that if I didn't come out, he would destroy all my stuff and log on to my school accounts and cause problems on there. Ray and his dad caught up to my boyfriend and started pulling him away from the door. My boyfriend started throwing punches, and his mom and I both went out to the inside of the back door because we were worried someone would get hurt. My boyfriend saw me and started trying for the back door again, saying that if I didn't get in the car he would kill himself. His mom said she was going to call the police. Ray and his dad ended up hauling him out to the front yard and told him to leave. My boyfriend did eventually get into the car. He spun his wheels, tore up the grass, and drove off. I felt pretty awful after all that. His mom and dad were both visibly really upset, and Ray's rental property had been messed up. I felt responsible. They were still so nice about everything though. They really are wonderful people. I spoke to the police, and they said they would be speaking to my boyfriend about what happened. I got some advice about obtaining a VRO and making sure I could find a way of retrieving my stuff from the house, so that is all okay for the moment. The latest news is that my boyfriend has been all over Facebook saying that Ray and I had been having an affair and posting all these random, cropped, blurry corn pictures from the internet, saying it was us, and that he had caught us in the act. None of us are responding to any of it at this point. We haven't really decided what to do there. My plan is to stay with Ray for now. It's still my best option, and Ray has said he won't leave me alone at the house in case my boyfriend comes back. Either he or his male roommate would be there. We also spoke to a couple of the neighbors Ray is friendly with, and they said they would keep an eye out for his car or call us if they saw anything dodgy. I'm at a bit of a loss as to what to do next. I'm planning to talk to my uni about getting into student housing. I'm planning to go out tomorrow to buy some pepper spray also. I'm tossing up about reaching out to my boyfriend's ex, but I'm not sure if that will cause more problems for everyone. So I suppose that's it, for now at least. I'm sorry that this was a bit of a novel, but I know a lot of people wanted an update, and considering how nice everyone has been, I wouldn't want anyone to worry that I had gone back or stayed with him. Rest assured, that is totally out of the question. The more I think about things that happened within our relationship with this new perspective, the more I realize how messed up some of those things were. Again, a huge thank you to everyone. I'll do my best to keep up with the comments and respond to any PMs. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. When an ex's parents even tell you that you did the right thing by leaving them, you most definitely did the right thing. Your next step should be to get that restraining order sorted as soon as possible. Your ex is a dangerous man who won't let this go without a fight, so you need the protection of the police if and when he comes back. With regards to Facebook, block him. Don't concern yourself with what he's posting. If people choose to believe him, then you're better off without them in your life too. Your priority is to stay safe and get him out of your life completely, and this may unfortunately mean cutting contact with his lovely parents and brother. It's wonderful that they're helping you and being supportive, but unless they completely cut their violent son or sibling out of their lives, you continue to put your safety at risk by remaining in contact with them. If they're as nice as you say they are, they'll understand. Good luck, Op. I'm relieved to read that you're safe. Commenter 2. I'm so touched by the actions of everyone involved in protecting this girl. The brother, the parents, and the so thoughtful ex-girlfriend who tried to protect the next girl, just bless her. Best of luck to you in everything, Op.